A very good day. Welcome to BNCA Africa. I am Thandeka Kosa and your news are as follows. In your local news, a Vanderbilt Park licensing department robbed. The employees at the Rodet Club licensing department on Freaky Mayor Boulevard, Vanderbilt Park, were robbed at gunpoint of an undisclosed sum of cash on Monday afternoon. This is after suspects armed with a rifle smoothly entered the building, wearing balaclavas at around 1 p.m. Police spokesperson Thandeka said the two armed suspects with pistols ordered an employee to open a safe. He was told the keys are with the people transporting cash. Mangxambela said the suspects ordered the employees to take the cash from the tellers. They further took 2 handbags and cell phones belonging to workers. The money was stuffed in bags before workers were ordered to lie down on the floor. The armed suspects left the offices before 3 shots were fired outside the building and 1 bystander was injured. The injured person drove himself to hospital. After the ordeal, 3 spent cartridges of 5.56mm R5 rifle were confiscated. Mangxambela said that the alleged suspects drove away in a white C-Class Mercedes-Benz with unknown registration. None of the workers from inside the building were injured, and no arrests have been made. In your national news, the Johannesburg Municipal Power Utility, City Power, on Saturday warned residents to stop illegal connections after 2 children were electrocuted to death in an informal settlement near Cleveland. The power utility cautioned residents about the danger of illegal electricity connections. City Power said spokesperson Isaac Mangena said reports were received that 2 children died after being electrocuted in the area. Mangena said the children reportedly tripped on an exposed live electricity wire. Following this, more than 10,500 endangered seabirds have died due to an outbreak of avian flu. Around 500 endangered Cape cormorants a day are dying of avian flu on Deva Island. Off of the western Cape coast, the island is home to breeding colony of Cape cormorants and have been hardest hit by an outbreak of avian flu. The outbreak was announced by the Western Cape government last week. The disease appeared to be concentrated amongst seabirds in the western and southern parts of the province, News 24 previously reported. As of Friday, more than 10,500 Cape cormorants have died. The country has less than 60,000 breeding pairs before the outbreak. Onto this, Eswatini needs reforms. Africa's last absolute monarchy, Eswatini, needs to enact reforms in the wake of pro-democracy protests that have been rattled the country since June, Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku told AFP.
If you're preoccupied with that and someone else is saying,
I would challenge those who say there is no democracy. I would support those who call for reforms. But we would have to get those items that require the focus of reform.
The situation.
In October, the new protest flared for more than 2 weeks, again met with deadly force until African mediators intervened. At least 37 people have been killed in the unrest since June. Masuku rose at the notion that Eswatini is not a democracy, noting that the country holds elections and has a parliament. However, political parties are banned and elections take place in a complex system that ensures that King Moswati III faces no meaningful dissent. Nearly 60% of his 1.2 million subjects live on less than $1.90 a day. 1/4 of adults have HIV and 1/4 of children suffer from chronic malnutrition, according to the United States. Masuku insisted the king was open to dialogue only after January. He also insisted the protest must stop first before Mswati completes his annual 3-month retreat. The pro-democracy movement last week rejected the palace call for dialogue, accusing the monarchy of seeking to appease mediators. When we come back, we take a look at your international stories.
We have all come from somewhere, been shaped and molded by our experiences. And I've learned the value of hard work and determination. There have been some highs and a couple of lows. But here I am, today, successful. Thanks to Ugogo and Damlin.
Welcome back to BNC Africa. I am Thandeka Kosa and your news continue. G20 leaders meet face-to-face after 2 years to tackle climate change crisis at Rome summit. Britain's Prince Charles argued leaders of the world's biggest economies this past Sunday to put words into action as they tackle the global climate change crisis on the final day of a weekend summit that is setting the tone for an even bigger UN climate conference opening in Glasgow, Scotland. The group of 20 countries, which represents more than 3/4 of the world's greenhouse gas emissions, are looking for common ground on how to reduce emissions while helping poor countries deal with the impact of rising temperatures. Diplomats said negotiators worked through the night to try to come up with solid commitments on emissions in a final statement to be released later Sunday. If G20 summit ends with only weak commitments, momentum could be lost for the larger annual talks in Glasgow, where countries from around the globe will be represented, including poor countries. Western countries have moved away from financing coal projects in developing countries, and major Asian communities are now doing the same. The Chinese president announced at the UN General Assembly last month that Beijing would stop financing such projects, and Japan and South Korea made similar commitments earlier in the year. China has not set an end date for building domestic coal plants at home. However, coal is still China's main source of power generation. A weather service said the area stretching from the U.S. capital north to Baltimore is facing the biggest tidal flood events for the past 10 to 20 years. It said that in some areas the damage could be worse since that caused by Hurricane Isabel in 2003. The local office of the NWS said the tidal flooding, strong winds and severe thunderstorms capable of causing damaging wind gusts and localized rain floods could impact the region. Coastal flooding alerts have been issued from the state of Virginia all the way north to New Jersey. In the Maryland state capital, Metropolis, located an hour's drive from Washington, the water comes up to the people's knees. At least one man used a kayak to navigate in the inundated streets. Sandbags were posted outside the stores to keep the water out. On Monday, California was hit by rain that caused severe floods after months of drought and repeated forest fires. Climate change is regularly blamed for extreme weather conditions. From BNC Africa, I am Thandeka Kosa. My time is up, and I thank you for yours.